Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I should say evening. Welcome to the Historically Haunted Show here on the Paranormal King Radio Network. Very excited for my guest tonight, to say the least. Not only for the good things he's done all around with children and with unfortunate souls, but even just diving into the serial killer world and paranormal mediumship. So let's get right to it. 90% of you have messaged me and told me I'm in for a treat. This is a great guest. So I got a feeling a lot of you know who I'm talking about. My guest this week is Robert Righi. Righi? Is that how you spell your last name? I'm sorry. I should have asked you first.
Righi? It's okay. It's Righi. It's an Italian name.
Name. I should have known that, Paisan. Very cool.
Yeah.
Pacelli is my mom's maiden name's Pacelli. That's cool.
Oh, wonderful. We are Paisans. Wonderful. We're Guido.
Yeah, that's it, my brother. That's it. How are you, Robert? So great to talk to you, my friend. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully, but right now here in the central part of the United States, we are experiencing a snowstorm that reaches thousands and thousands of miles through the Midwest. And before it's all said and done, we should be getting about 11 inches of snow by tomorrow afternoon. So
wow, where I'm from, we call that a nor'easter up in Maine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So because you're based out of Peoria, Illinois, the hometown of a metal band, Mudvayne, that I like. They're from Peoria, Illinois. Kind of a big city town. I mean, you're fairly close to Chicago, like you said. Kind of sketchy at sometimes, I guess, but what can't be. But you seem to like it. You've been there your whole life, you said.
Right, and when I was 18, I moved away from here, went to University of Florida. And then, as I say, everything is history. And I traveled. My family always said, because I'm Italian and Spanish, and my family moved here from Europe right before World War II. And they were very, very poor. They were immigrants. And my father and mother met with their families and such. My father had 14 brothers and sisters, and so a lot of their cousins and such like that. But they met in France on a boat coming to America. And so they all traveled together because Italian and Spanish is very close. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so they traveled through Ellis Island. It took them, like 90 some days to get here by boat. And, but anyhow, they come through Ellis Island, and then anyhow, I am, I love my culture. I love my traditions of being Spanish and Italian. And so I'm very, very blessed in my life. I may not be the wealthiest person in the world, but I am so very, very blessed.
Amen. That's some great heritage. That's very sensual. The food, the sensuality, sexuality, the music, very lovely, very open spiritually, I believe, as well, Spanish and Italian. So that's very great to be from that. So Robert, I mean, I don't know, man. We got an hour, and I got so many things I want to touch base on. We got some folks in chat. Hit up the questions.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
okay,
where would you like to start?
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to Jay Hill. He's a very good friend of mine.
Oh, I love Jay Hill. Very cool. He was a guest of mine, I think, week 2. Studio 6 podcast. Oh, that's awesome.
And Jay Hill is the one who told me about you.
Oh, no way. That's killer.
Yeah. And anyhow, Jay is my brother. He really is. I mean, we just have a lot in common, and we talk to each other at least once a week, or we message each other and such. I highly regard him. I appreciate his friendship. I appreciate everything about Jay. Really, I
That's
do. He's
good.
really a great guy. Good guy.
Look at that. Very good. Also, too, I also did get a message from someone who says he knows you very well. I want to say hi from his family, John Kazuka or Kazuska, from True North
Oh,
Paranormal.
oh yes, yes, John. Oh, John and Karina. Yes, my friends
Yes,
in
yes.
Canada. Oh my God, they're wonderful folks. Oh my God, if it wasn't for this damn COVID, I would be going to BC to seeing them in British Columbia, and
Yes,
I
that's where they're
love that
from,
place.
BC. They spoke very highly of you. I mean, not that it matters if someone did, because I've already formed my own opinion of you, and you're amazing. But a lot of people speak. I haven't heard one bad thing, and I know you're not perfect, but yeah,
Right.
Jay Hill
I want.
spoke of you, John Kazuska, Taryn Kerper that Taryn, she was on your show last week, Paranormal
Uh huh.
Brew
Yeah.
Show. I know
And
her. She
she's
spoke.
also Italian. And she's also Italian.
Oh, look at that family, brother, family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big I love my history, as you could tell, but I'm also kind of a big serial killer type guy. I've been to the Boston Stranglers gravesite, and I've been to H.H. Holmes' house.
Okay.
Let's I want to dive a little bit into you talked to was it Teddy Bundy, right? Is that true? Is it Teddy?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Let me just give some background of myself quickly. I
Oh,
know I could
absolutely.
talk
Please
for
go ahead.
hours. Okay. Anyhow, I am a psychic medium. My first experience is when I was 4 years old, and I was born in 1954. So I'm old. I just turned 67 Thanksgiving week. And having that first experience, it really started my life. And being Spanish and Italian, like I said, I'm also Catholic, and my spirituality is based on my Roman Catholicism. I don't try to convert anyone to anything. I don't care. But for me personally, my Roman Catholicism is very, very important to me. And then
Awesome.
through the years growing up, I was told by my Italian father and my Spanish mother and my Italian relatives, Spanish relatives also, that never talk about it because, again, I was born in 1954. 58 was my first experience when I was 4 years old. And during that time, our culture here in America was changing. It was the Vietnam War. It was the end of the Korean War, the beginning a couple years later, the Vietnam conflict. To me, it was still a war, right?
Wow,
And
yeah, yeah.
and then during that time, it was the civil rights movement. Later, a couple of years later, it was the gay rights movement. And I am gay. I'm very open and very transparent in who I am and what I do. But
Good
again,
for you.
being,
Amen for that. Nothing wrong with that,
but
brother.
thank you. But again, being gay doesn't define who I am. My heart does. Being a psychic medium doesn't define who I am. My heart does. Being Spanish and
Absolutely.
Italian and Catholic doesn't define who I am. My heart does. And so just coming up in the 60s, like I said, Vietnam and the protests and stuff like that, the civil rights movement, the ERA, which is the Equal Rights Amendment for our sisters, okay, and such like that. Vatican II, if you're Catholic like me, that changed the whole church and such like that. So during the
Yep.
60s, it was just kind of like we didn't talk about paranormal. Granted, though, 50 years before I was born, people were tipping tables, and doing seances and tea leaves, tarot cards,
Yeah,
and everything
the
like
Fox
that.
sisters. Yeah, the Fox sisters.
Yeah,
I feel like it almost skipped a couple generations. It was like cool, and then it was taboo, and then the Warrens made it cool again, and now Zach Bagans and all that. But yeah, you're right. There was a gap there. So you would have already
right,
been considered a freak, or not a freak, but almost like you know what I mean. People
right.
would have looked
Oh,
at you
yeah,
kind of like weirdly. Yeah.
right. So anyhow, so I went to a Catholic school. I remember one time the sister said, "Mr. Riggi, what are you looking out the window for? What's going on?" And you're smiling. I said, "Sister," and here I was in sixth grade. And anyhow, and I said, "Sister, I see spirits. There's little kid spirits waving at me and everything." She came up and she slapped the crap out of me. She goes, "Don't be lying to me." And
Oh my
so,
God.
so I should have
Yeah.
listened to I should have
Nuns
listened
don't
to my
like that.
parents, you know. And but anyhow, and that really made me feel very self-conscious. And later on in life, when because I came out of the paranormal closet when I was 4 years old, I came out of the gay closet when I was 18, and it's been a hell of a ride. You know what I mean? And and
I
so
bet. You've overcome a
yeah,
lot of odds when you think about it, you
right.
know.
Oh. Yeah, oh, very much so. I had a lot of things against me, culturally, let's say, right? But anyhow,
Yeah.
I have learned to embrace my abilities and gifts. They are from God, or people can say the universe, it doesn't matter. But I embrace those
Hmm.
very wonderful gifts and talents that I have. And so when I was in school, I had to learn how to turn on and off my abilities. And so I learned, it took me a while, but I learned how to do that. And to this day, and this very day, I mentor 15 children of the paranormal, and we can maybe go through that through another time. But anyhow, I do a lot of things within the paranormal field. And when I graduated from high school, my parents wanted me to go to the Cordon Bleu in Chicago to become a chef because I love to cook. You know, being Italian and Spanish and all that great pasta and the Mexican Spanish food and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
You know. And but anyhow, I said I wanted to be a forensic psychologist, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And after talking with
No.
them, and so they supported me 100%. You know, and so I went to University of Florida. And 1980, I was working on my master's degree in forensic psychology and clinical social work. I had gone to uh, my advisor and said, you know, Ted Bundy is only 50 miles north of where we're at. And I said, I want to write him a letter to see if maybe myself and some other psychologists could go interview him while he was on death row.
Wow, like a pen
And
pal, almost like, kind of in a
yeah,
way. I mean, but
right.
professionally, but yeah, that's
Mhm.
wow.
And so I did. And anyhow, and so I wrote a letter to him and to his lawyer and to the warden. And a couple of weeks later, I received a letter from him, from his
Wow.
lawyer, and also from the warden, giving us permission to do so.
Wow.
And so I went back to my advisor and I said, showed him the letters, and I still have the letters to this day, many letters from Ted Bundy, and also from the son of Sam in New York. Also, Jeffrey Dahmer, I had written to him before he was murdered in prison, and stuff like
Wow.
that. And also, I had written to Dennis Rader, who is a BTA
BTK.
in Wichita, Kansas. Yes, and also Scott Peterson that killed his wife and his unborn child
Yeah.
in California. And so the criminal mind has always fascinated me. Why people do the things that they do, what leads them to that? Is it possession? Or is it being psychiatrically ill? And if they are psychiatrically ill, what caused them to be that way? What happened in their lives? Is it
Right.
genetics? Is it genetics or in the environment? Or they say nature and nurture? And with Ted Bundy, it was both. It was both
Wow.
nature and nurture that led him to do what he did. Now, I'm not justifying what he did. And I talk about this, and let me tell you, Adam, that it was only in the last probably 2 years, 3 years that I began to talk about Ted Bundy. Prior to that, I never did. I never talked about it because I never thought anybody would ever be interested in it. And when I did a podcast several years ago and talked about that, it kind of like opened the floodgates,
I
you
bet.
know,
Oh, that's a
you
whole
know.
topic on its own. All the names you're dropping, Dennis Rader, all these people, Son of Sam. It's all, and like you say, it's not that we condone it. It's not that you want to be a
Right,
serial killer like Dexter or whatever. You just,
right,
it's intriguing to know why no remorse. What keeps, they said, and a lot of it is euphoric. A lot of these people, it's sexually, they almost get off, so to speak, by
oh,
doing.
yeah,
It's very unreal. It is, like you say, are they possessed? Is it demonship? Is it satanic? Some people, like the Menendez brothers, have it all made, millionaires' kids, and they just
right,
kill.
yeah, right. And so
Wow.
what's and so like I said, so he reached out to me, he and I reached out to him, and anyhow, 2 weeks later we go there. It's myself and four other forensic psychologists. Excuse me, there was another forensic psychologist, there was a child psychologist, and also an animal psychologist that went with me. And so there were
Wow.
four of us. There were three females, and the reason why I wanted females there because of what he had done to our sisters and how he murdered them heinously,
Hmm.
horribly, cannibalized them, decapitated them. Again, I'm not justifying what this guy did, but the story of these innocent women,
Oh, it's
they were
astonishing.
innocent.
It's
Yes, they were
astonishing. It's
they were innocent. And one of the females that he murdered was only 12 years old. 12.
unreal.
And he
Well, look
could
at
tap
Albert
in.
Fish. Albert Fish killed an 11-year-old, didn't he? Back in the day, he brought her to a party and then he ate her and wrote a letter to the parents. Was that Albert
Right.
Fish, I
Oh yeah.
think, or something?
Hmm.
Oh, hey, real quick, Robert. Sorry to interrupt you. We have a question. Awesome.
Sure.
Bill Bartley asked you, "Hey, Robert, have you ever tried to join the FBI or law enforcement or anything like that? CIA?"
No, no, I didn't. But let me tell you, being a forensic psychologist, again, and being a criminal profiler, that's what I was for 30 plus years, my brothers and sisters who are listening to this. I was a criminal profiler. That's what fascinated me. And being a criminal profiler, back then it was 1980, right? That was Miami Vice time. We were not police. We were not cops at all. Nothing whatsoever. Whatsoever. And I'm old. So everybody who, is about my age, younger, whatever, they remember Miami Vice with the pastel colors and Don Johnson, Miami and everything.
Oh yeah, sex
Okay.
appeal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell
And
you
so
what, though,
then,
my brother, you. I'm not to cut you off, but you sound young at heart. You sound all full of life. I see your pictures. You're always cooking up a storm, which we'll get to in a little bit. So I think
okay.
age is just a number. You sound and feel right up there with anybody. But anyway, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Thank you. And so again, we were not like what you see on TV, the NCI movie shows. I don't watch that crap because it's not reality. It's not
Scripted.
reality.
Nope.
We never carried any guns at that time. We were not forensic scientists, not at all. Okay. And so I had my master's degree. My first job was in Orlando before Universal Studios was there. And then I was promoted to South Beach, Miami area. And so I started working as a criminal profiler. And when I went for the not interview, but when I met the director, he said, Robert, he said, I only have a bachelor's degree in criminology. You have much more education and experience than I do. So he handed me a tablet, I remember, and I have that tablet to this day. This yellow pad, legal pad.
Wow.
And he handed it to me, goes, Robert, I want you to write the protocol. I want you to write the protocol and how we're going to do what we're going to do and such. And so I did. And to this day, there's 2 chapters in a book of criminal profiling 101, as they say. And I have 2 chapters that I had written. And it is in that book to this day. But
wow, that's amazing.
But again, it's not all about me. So when it comes to did I want to be a policeman? No, I didn't. The forensic psychology and being also have a master's in clinical social work. They work beautifully together. Also being a psychic medium, they even work better together, right? My
Right.
director, I told him what I do when it was in the paranormal field. And so he believed in it. He believed in the paranormal field. He was fascinated, intrigued by it. And he said, Robert, if you use your abilities, he said, that's fine. But he said, never document to say, oh, your spirits told you. You know what I mean? And that type of thing. So I had to be very, very careful how I worded in my documentation about finding the perpetrator. And again, my brothers and sisters listening to this, that being a criminal profiler, that we become the victim. And so we go to the victim's family. We are called in immediately when they do find a body. We are there also, okay? And so, such like that. So we become the victim. So we have to know where they worked, where they went to church, where they went to eat, everything about them, friends, family, and those types of things. So interviewing and me being very personable, it was so easy for me to go into a family's home and talk with them. I'm very empathetic also. I know that they were in shock. I know that they were grieving. I know that they were angry. I know that they were frustrated, okay? I went to assure them that I would do everything within my power to find who perpetrated, who is the, who did this to their, could be mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, cousin, and such, right? And
I gotta
and
ask
so
though, real quick. I gotta ask, as being a medium, of course, being sensitive, you must absorb all that pain and suffering when you're in there too. You must almost feel like shit by the time you're done the interview, right? I mean,
right,
do you
right,
do you take that on? Do you feel like?
oh yes, I do, because I have to feel, because by feeling of the frustration and anger and grieving, then it will help me even better regarding the person who's been murdered, if that makes sense. Okay. And I remember going to,
Yeah, absolutely.
getting calls and such, and like 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was, and going to see a man, woman, child, even there. And I would always connect with the person who was deceased. Interiorly, I would say to them, I am here to help you. I am here to find who did this to you. You did not deserve to die like this. And
Wow.
so did it bother me emotionally? It really didn't bother me because I separated myself, and you had to. Did I cry with the families? Of course I did. I'm human, for God's sakes. We do,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and,
That
and
actually brings me to
usually,
another question. That brings me to a
sure.
question real quick too from Ross King, which kind of ties in with that. He wants to know: does Robert, when you go on investigations, will you see and will you help cross spirits over if you can? Which kind of answers that question, so to speak, which you just said. That's what
And
you
so
try
I
to do.
do. Yes,
Yeah,
and so I
sure.
do. I have, the spirits come into my room all the time. My brothers and sisters in the paranormal field, we don't have to be out in the dark to go anywhere. The spirits are around us 24/7. Okay. And so do I see them? Yes. Psychically. Do they talk to me? Yes. Sometimes I hear them audibly with my ears. Sometimes I see apparitions. Sometimes I see shadow people. You know what I mean? And so, yes. And so, have I crossed children over? Of course. That is the most important thing in my life, is to cross children over. And we can go into another time of when these children have entered into my room at night. And my bedroom is like a cathedral. Being Catholic, there's candles everywhere, right? And
I love
but
that.
anyhow, so that's very important to me. And also, I listen to Gregorian chant. Also, I have
Oh,
not talked about this too much, but I was a Benedictine brother. I lived in a monastery for 5 years, and so that's another story in itself too. And
wow, that's
and
huge. And honestly, dude, and not trying to bring it up, but I have gay people in my family. To be
mhm,
gay and to be gay and to be, like an Italian kind of an immigrant dude, and you are climbing the ladders and you're breaking barriers. And you say, Catholics. Some of the down south or whatever, they don't like that, whatever. But in Maine, where I'm from, Yankee, we accept all colors, creeds, gays, bisexuals, whatever. And for you to be
right.
welcomed in with open arms is astonishing and honestly amazing and beautiful. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
thank
so glad I
you.
got to talk to you today. I had to cut you off because I can't believe I'm talking to you. Um,
Oh,
you've
oh, well,
come
please, oh,
you're
please.
very respected, dude. You're very respected, brother. And sorry to cut you off
No.
again. I do that a lot. I got ADD, so I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about that. Oh, don't worry about that. Being Italian and Spanish, I'm using my hands talking. Nobody can see us.
I
Anyhow,
am
I'm using
too.
my hands.
I am too.
And so I am. But anyhow, so we become the victim, and talking to these families. And so we need to know, like I said, where they went to school, if they were going to go to school, or if they were going to school, if they were working, where did they work, who were their friends, a list of names and such like that. Because more times than not, it's not going to be a serial killer. It could be a mass murderer, because serial killers are different than mass murderers. Okay. It's usually somebody who we're going to know. It could be a jilted lover. It could be, oh my God, it could be just many, many things, right? But just to help those
Right.
families, just to help those families. And another thing that helps me separate myself, because we are all human, we're all social animals. We do feel, okay, I feel people's anger and frustration, those types of things, love, joy, sorrow, and such. And I believe in interior prayer. And how I learned interior prayer was being Catholic in the Catholic schools. but especially from Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And I met her 3 different times because when I was in South Florida, she had a AIDS hospice there, and being gay, and my brothers were dying, especially during the 80s, because of our government and all sorts of things about you can't do this and you can't do that, you can't hug them, which was a lie, and you're going to catch it this way and that way, just almost like COVID, right? And all that was
Oh
just
yeah.
false. All that was just false. And Dr. Anthony Fauci was one of them who started that crap too, about you can't hug them, watch out for tears. I mean, it was just horrible. And anyhow, and so
Oh
so
yeah.
volunteering started even when I was in grade school, volunteering, and that's just how my family, I was brought up, because being, them being immigrants and everything, is that they said, Robert, you always have to give something back to America. You always have to give something back. It's just like, it's just like JFK. I was little, okay, and JFK said, something about helping your country. Don't ask the country to do a lot of things for you. You do things for your country to make it better. And so that's what, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And so that
Oh
was
yes,
very,
I've heard that.
and
That's true.
that was
Everybody
it.
wants to sit back and get things done for them. You got to be positive and go out there and do it and give back to your
Mhm.
community and keep in. Um, I get
Right.
some more questions coming in, but I want to talk to you
Go
about the
ahead.
children you work with.
Go
I
ahead.
get some more questions.
Okay.
Bill asks you, hey, Bill, thanks for listening. Bill asks, has Robert come across any locations that do not allow him to cross people over? And how do you feel about that if it does?
I have never been in a lot of locations that people don't cross anyone over. If I do cross folks over, children especially, I don't tell anyone. I do it interiorly. I do it quietly. I do.
Wow, smart.
That's how I do it. And that's how Mother Teresa, Mother Teresa said, Robert, you talk all the time. You need to shut up. Put down the cell phones and do, whatever. And she said, just get in touch with your spirit. Get in touch with your spirit.
Wow.
And it's just being around the saint. You know what I mean? And just meeting her 3 different times and such like that.
You met Mother Teresa?
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah, I did.
Wow. Wow.
And
What a
and then
rush.
that's why I am connected with the Missionaries of Charity, the religious order that she started, the Priest Brothers and Sisters. And that's how I got out to New Mexico, was with our Native American brothers and sisters in a homeless shelter in Soup Kitchen and Food Pantry in Gallup, New Mexico. I was there for I was there from January 1st until the last week in May. And then I went to Tawas, which is north of there. And I just met some wonderful Native American shamans, and we went horseback riding and way up in the mountains. And it was just so beautiful. And I saw moose, and I saw all sorts of animals and such. And these wonderful shamans instructed me in about skinwalkers and about Sasquatch and many other things. And I think I sent you a picture, Adam, of me standing in front of this huge boulder or this mountain, and has a huge center of it is not there. It's called Window Rock, Arizona. That is the seat of the Navajo Nation. It's one of the most sacred and holiest places. And when I was in New Mexico and Arizona, also that I was invited to 7 different sweat lodges and such like that, and just a wonderful experience. Just a wonderful experience. So I travel all over. I volunteer, which is very important to me, and such like that. But going back to being a criminal profiler, is that just the fact that I am there to help these people, help these families who are grieving so badly, and such like that. And so, getting to know the family, you will get to know the perpetrator.
Yep.
Sometimes the perpetrator is going to be a loved one. It could be a stranger to them, but the person who was murdered knew them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And okay, and so, but again, I think one of the times that really bothered me is when I got a call about 2:00 in the morning, and went out there. In fact, the detectives back then always picked us up. They always picked us up. We didn't have to drive ourselves. They always picked us up. And I remember going to a dumpster and looking inside, and I did not know if I was looking at a rag doll or a baby. And that bothered me greatly, to see this infant murdered the way this infant was murdered, or any infant or anyone being murdered bothers me, but especially a child.
That's something. I've been to a child's funeral. Just seeing a child in a casket is horrifying. I can't actually imagine seeing the horrific. And I think that's what people. And I think that's what people miss. I mean, of course, they all think, "Oh, Charles Manson's cool and the Night Stalker." Well, I get what they get's intriguing, and maybe it's cool to an extent. But if you look at the poor victims, those are the ones that need to be remembered. This is why we do this, to get in the heads. Right. It's almost the old saying, keep your enemies closer. When you get like with you, I mean, obviously you didn't love Ted Bundy, but you're trying to help families. Of course, it was unreal to talk to him and to get to know him, but you you tried digesting a mind that, wow. I mean, okay, real quick. I'm sorry. Another question. Can Robert tap into missing people cases? Do cops ask you for help?
Yes, I can. A lot of people have asked me, because I'm also a practitioner of remote viewing, and I have helped on several cases. I can't go into a lot of detail with that, but yes, I can go into detail about a little girl that was missing, and she came to me, and she was still alive at the time. And anyhow, we can talk about that at another time also. But yeah, I do. There's a lot of things that I do. And like I said, Adam, and my brothers and sisters, it's only been within the last 3 or 4 years that I have ever talked about this stuff. Because for me, it was something very personal, something that I didn't think anybody would even want to hear my journey. And I realized, and so I realized that I need to tell my journey, because somebody still may be in the paranormal closet, as I say, and it's just a fact that we need to embrace our gifts and our abilities. Don't shy away from them. Be the person that God or the universe has created you to be. And I understand a lot of people don't embrace them, and God bless them. I don't try to force anybody to do anything. I don't. But being a criminal profiler for 30 plus years, I saw the best of humanity, and I saw the worst of humanity also. Wow. And we all must realize that there is evil in the world. And if you write the word out, EVIL, and if you write it backwards, then it means LIVE, live. And it is. Evil is alive. It is. It's alive and well in this country, in this world, and in this universe, and such like that. The universe right now is really, really upside down. And so if we can just, that Mother Teresa said, Robert, you don't have to change the world because she said that you can't help everyone. You can't help everyone. And it's true. We can't. Yeah. But she said to acknowledge our brothers and sisters. She said it doesn't matter if they're wearing a $10,000 suit or if they're wearing rags. She said, we're looking into the eyes of Christ. And she said that she prays that when they look back into our eyes, that they see Christ in us. Wow. And she also said, Robert, you don't have to go across the ocean to India or to Pakistan or anywhere. She goes, find your own Calcutta. Find your own Calcutta within your own family, within your own community, within your own country. And so when I go out to the Navajo Indian Reservation, and I'm going to go out to South Dakota very soon, I'll be there for a year on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation with our Lakota Sioux and Ogallala Sioux. And so that will be my Calcutta. My Calcutta is being here in Peoria, going to the Southside Mission and cooking in the soup kitchen. And so
I see the pictures, my brother. You got my mouth watering with the food you guys are prepping up over there, my brother. Now, I DoorDash during the day, and I get your text, and I see this food. I go, son of a bitch, that looks good.
But anyhow, so I am who I am. I'm not any greater or less than anyone, and that's the God's truth. And again, when I do my volunteer work, I just don't represent myself. I represent all my family and friends. I understand that people cannot go out into the mission field, as they say. Okay. And I understand that. I truly do. But what we
Wow.
can do is that we can acknowledge our brothers and sisters who are living on the streets, who may just need a smile. My brothers and sisters, you have no idea what a smile can do to
Oh, it's contagious. It's
change
contagious.
the world,
Absolutely.
you know? And,
For
but
those of
any,
you just tuning in, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to make sure because people are tuning in now. Some more people. We're talking with Robert Righi. How do you say it again? I'm
Riggy,
sorry, Righi.
Riggy, Riggy.
Yes, okay, Righi. I don't want to butcher. He's a fellow Italian paisan, a brother under God, and he's one of the good ones in this fight. He's blessed us with his time. We got about 25 minutes left, and we're just talking with him about his psychic mediumship, his past, dealing with forensic science and analysis with serial killers, and his volunteer work with children less fortunate. He's one of the good ones, brothers and sisters out there that are tuning in. Thank you to Betsy, Witch in Nature, for tuning in. Charles Blake, George Cannon, Bill Bartley, Earl Morgan, Heather Witchin, Ross King. Keep your comments coming, guys. Sorry to cut you off, Robert.
That's fine. It's fine. And also, you know what? Ted Bundy is just one of the many experiences that I've had. But like mentoring 15 children, in which I will call children of the paranormal, I know how it is. I know what children go through. And so
Wow.
people have heard me on a podcast several years ago, families did. And so just by word of mouth, and I always give my telephone number out constantly, 309-213-0325. If anyone needs assistance in anything, please contact me. And anyhow, and so they heard about me.
That's huge.
And then all at once, I was getting phone calls from all over the country that something's wrong with my child. My child is saying, of course, all children will have imaginary friends, but are they really, truly imaginary? Sometimes they're not.
Oh.
Right? But anyhow, we can go into that. But these children, some of them were adolescents when I first met them, and they attempted suicide because nobody understood what they were going through. No one did.
Man.
And so that breaks my heart. There were other several children that started
And that's why we talk about the serial killer part. But Robert, for those of you who don't know, Robert deals with kids that are, I'd say, less fortunate, but what I mean is they're on the brink of death. These kids are like your Make-A-Wish type kids that don't have a lot. They don't have the luxury of, Yeah.
Right.
Betsy Brown Williams. Betsy Brown Williams is a big fan of yours. She says, I work with cancer patients, and to hear your voice is so uplifting. She looks up to you, Betsy Brown Williams does.
Please don't look up to me. Please, if anything, share to others of your own experiences, because we're all there to help. So please don't look up to me. I know people do, and that bothers me greatly, because I am who I am.
It shouldn't,
I am.
It shouldn't. We need a good push in this life, brother. People fall too far for these fake TV personalities and football stars and movie stars, and we need a good role model. And you are a good soul. You're not perfect, man, but you keep pushing forward and helping others.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so the children of the paranormal are different than the children that I am with in their very last hours of their lives. Wow. And just 3 weeks ago, I was with little Angela, and I should have sent you some pictures. I have some pictures of the children that I've been with, and their parents know who I am, and they know what I do, and such like that. And I bring my guitar, and so I play music for them and such, and we sing sometimes if the children are able to. And I always tell the children, these children are so precious, and I would say to them, I am here to help you part of the way on this beautiful vacation that you're going to go on. And it is a place where there's no more needles, no more hospitals, that you can play. You can run and play soccer. You can go swimming. You can go swinging. You can walk in the park and have the most wonderful time. And this beautiful angel is going to be coming very, very close, very, very soon. And this angel is going to take you to paradise. The angel's going to take you to this beautiful park. I remember one time, my brothers and sisters, that I was playing. I asked Reed. I said, Reed, I want to play a song, and I've been playing a song. And I said, do you have any requests, as they say? And he goes, what's that? And I said, do you have any favorite song? And he said, would you please play Silent Night? And if anybody knows why Silent Night was written, it was really about a death. This priest got words that this elderly lady had passed. And so he needed to come up. He needed to come up with some eulogy. And he was just thinking real hard. And anyhow, that's how Silent Night. And at the very end of the song, I was like in the second stanza of Silent Night. And he passed away when I was singing this song to him.
Oh my good Lord! You gotta, for those of you listening, hope you got a Kleenex handy, because wow.
And so these angels, some of these angels, my brothers and sisters, are kids that they knew, like at Children's Hospital or Shriners, okay, or St. Jude down in Memphis, okay. And a lot of times these angels would come, and sometimes the children could see them. Sometimes their parents could see these angels. But to be with, and I will send you, Adam, I will send you some pictures. And so again, I believe that God, or the universe puts us where we need to be at any given time. And we are all created to do something good for other people. And yet we always have to realize and remember that we need to love ourselves, not in a vain way. You know, what my brothers and sisters said, that the person who can love us the most is ourselves. But on the other hand, the person who can hate us the most is ourselves also. So we need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves. It's easy to forgive everyone else, but it's most difficult at times to forgive ourselves. But anyhow, so I do a lot of things.
It's like cleaning. It's like you can clean someone else's house, but you can't clean your own. Ross goes in the chat. Ross goes, Adam, don't start crying. I know you're an empath. Stay strong. I'm tearing up over here a little bit, because the thing is, what I'm mystified at, and I'm sorry, Robert, you're probably gonna blush, and I apologize ahead of time, but to have someone that's out there, and you're not doing this for movie titles or for a Facebook post or for $1,000 paycheck. You're out there doing your time and absorbing and spending time with these little angels, just to spread God's love and just to do things. When we're having a bad day because our coffee was late or our toast was burnt, these kids are passing on and not even getting a chance to be teenagers, man. And you're making it easier for them, Robert. You're doing God's work on this earth. And that is so rare, my brother. And my hat's off to you. The listeners, I'm sure, are probably tearing up. A lot of them are saying, God bless you. One guy goes, I couldn't do that. I could not do your work. So thank you for that. One person said it takes a special person to do what Robert does. King told George that. And it's true, Robert.
Well, people have said that to me, but you know what? We all have gifts and talents. We all have things that I can't do. Oh my God, I can't do a damn computer, for God's sake. I don't even know how to do my email.
He's right, folks.
It has only been within a year, possibly, that I don't even adventure into my email. If I do, sometimes I get it right. Sometimes God knows who gets it. I don't know.
I gotta ask, Robert, before you go into these things, do you meditate? Do you ground yourself mentally? Do you go?
I do, especially with the children that I'm helping to leave this earthly dimension for the heavenly dimension. Interiorly, but sometimes it's maybe only for a couple of minutes, because I will get a call. Like I could get a call now and say, Robert, we need your help, and I'd be there in a heartbeat, right? And so sometimes I have more time, and other times I just have to realize, realize that what I'm going to experience is what I'm supposed to experience, and that I'm there for the child and for the families. Oh my gosh, I'm there for the parents. I'm there for the parents, and how I work with the parents and how I minister to them. Okay. It's not real religious. Okay, not at all. And but we can go into that another time of how I help them through the grieving process. Also, when it comes to the children of the paranormal, I know what these children are going through because I went through horrendous times in my life being so little and experiencing the things that I did. So I understand about stuffing it. In fact, I started to stutter as a small child. It wasn't because of my family. It was because I couldn't talk about it, only to my family. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
so
right, right.
so I know what these children are going through. So I'm very blessed with knowing these children of the paranormal and their families. And we can go, and that's like that's like a couple hours by itself. But anyhow, but doing the things that I do is very, very close to my heart. And again, I must say that I don't charge for anything. Everything that I do is free. Everything I do is voluntarily. I voluntarily do it. If somebody wants to, I do many, many readings and events and such, right? And we all have to make a buck, and I understand that. But it's just the fact I always tell my brothers and sisters that if you reach out to a psychic medium and the first thing they say, well, I need $50, right? Hang up on them, for God's sakes. Please hang up on them. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of crap out there. Also, oh my God, these damn ghost shows on TV. I watched them in the very beginning, but after like 6 months, oh my God, I was ready to put hot pokers in my eyes and my ears because I couldn't take it anymore.
And that's putting it modestly.
And when these people say they're an expert, my hind end, nobody is an expert within the paranormal field because it is not an absolute science.
Someone finally said it. Give this man a fucking award.
And you can, you know what? And you can have 100 psychics in a room, or 100 mediums, or empaths, intuitives in a room. They will all experience something that they're supposed to experience. Okay, all of us will have our own different experiences. And so when I hear, and people talk about evidence, and evidence to me, is it subjective or is it objective? Because you can hear an EVP and somebody will hear this and somebody will hear something else. And I explain to people that when that happens, it is because you are supposed to hear the things that you hear. Maybe it's not what the other person heard, and that's okay. Also, my brothers and sisters in the paranormal field, and anyone else who's listening to this, that when we do a residential, please be compassionate to these people. Okay. And again,
yes.
You have all this equipment. Leave the ego at the door, please. You're there to help them, not to help yourself. Okay.
And leave your cologne and sunglasses in the car.
Yeah. And don't go drunk. Please don't go drunk or high.
Oh, that's fucking respect. Yes. Amen for that. Yes, Robert.
And but anyhow, but again, take the time to talk to the family. And again, you must validate that what they're experiencing, because it is their experience and not mine or yours. And just because you go in with all this equipment and you don't get anything doesn't mean that there is nothing there, because the spirits are not like circus animals. They don't come out on cue. You know what I mean? If they don't want to come out and be seen, they won't be.
It's like fishing. You can go 30 times and not get a bite. You know what I mean? When they give it to you, it's a gift too. Don't take it and run. Sit there, get what you wanted, right? And that really separates the boys from the men, so to speak, is the ones that can handle it. You've been through this your whole life. It sounds like you've been doing this since you were not even double-digit numbers yet. 8 years old, 6 years old.
Right. And so I've experienced a lot. And also, my brothers and sisters, I do like a lot of seminars. I don't charge for anything, right? Wow. And so people talk about and it's not because I'm wealthy, because I'm not. I am blessed in other ways. I am blessed abundantly, and it's not materially. It's not. Okay. And so when I talk about fear, people are afraid, and I understand that it's human to be fearful. It's human to be scared. Okay. When I tell my paranormal brothers and sisters, or anyone, I say that it is not overcoming the fear, but it is understanding the fear. What is inside of you that is making you fearful? Why is the darkness of the night or being in a dark room, why are you fearful for that? And when one begins to talk about that, and and realize, what? The only difference is the light's on. And the light is on, right? And so there's light, right? Or I could be sitting in the dark. And right now I'm sitting in the dark with you folks, right? And I love the darkness. I love the sacred darkness of the night.
Oh, you're
I
actually in
do.
the dark right now, literally?
I am.
Oh, that's
I
killer.
am.
I got a little light on, but honestly, the dark,
Okay.
being scared of the dark is just because people are scared of the unknown. If you can't see it, what could be there? And your brain plays tricks on you. There could be a
Right.
million
Well,
things: a monster, a
right.
ghost, a demon. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it could
Wow,
be
you're one of the
anything.
most.
Right.
You're a joy to talk to. We got 10 minutes left. This is going. I'm gonna
Okay.
definitely have to have you on again because we didn't talk about half the shit I want to talk about.
But so my brothers and sisters, please think about this. It's not overcoming the fear, because the fear will always be there, but you don't have to act on the fear. Think about why you're fearful. And if you talk about it, and if you dissect it, and if you think about it, then you will understand it more. When I was a little child, I was
Yeah,
scared of the dark night. I was scared of a dark room at night, right? But now I love the darkness. I embrace the darkness and the sacredness of the night. I do.
I
I
love
do very
that.
I do so very, very much. But again, it's not all about me. It's not. I could talk about Ted Bundy until the cows come home, and maybe that can be for another time also. But
Robert, I do want to say one thing because I did get accepted into the. I don't know if you ever heard of the War and Legacy Foundation run by Chris
oh yeah,
McKennell.
oh yeah, I
You
have. Yeah,
remind
I
me.
know too.
You remind me literally of him because he travels. He talked to the Dalai Lama, so he talked to the opposite one that you talked to. But I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
travels around the world helping people at no cost. And all I could think about is you and him, like being a power whirlwind of a duo because
Mm-hmm.
you put yourself, to be fair, you put yourself second. I think in a lot of situations you really don't put yourself first, and I think you're
Yeah.
okay with that, and that's rare
Oh,
in a world
I
where
am.
people come first. Like right now,
Right.
you're going to be in a foot long snowstorm, and you'll probably still
Right.
trug through and go flip pancakes tomorrow. you
Yeah,
know,
I am. Tomorrow, I am. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be at the soup kitchen. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be there because somebody else is going to be doing it. Just on the weekends. But then Monday morning, I will be there and stuff like that. And and so I love the environment after being with our Navajo brothers and sisters, Native American brothers and sisters in New Mexico and in Arizona. I have learned a better appreciation. I have always had respect for the environment, very much so, but I
yeah,
even have a better regard and respect for the environment. But again, my brothers and sisters, if you get anything out of this, look beyond what I do, because you can do the same thing. It doesn't have to be monumental. Smile at someone. Smile is very infectious. You can change someone's day. If someone is contemplating suicide possibly, and you smile at them, and
that's big.
acknowledging who they are, maybe that simple smile, that 2-second smile, will help them get through their day. And so there's a lot of things that we can do that doesn't
Uh,
cost a dime.
You're already spreading it right now. Betsy Brown Williams, she's going to bed. She's going to get better. She goes, love and light. Stay safe. What a great show. Love and hugs to you all. She's going to be following you. She already is anyway. But Bill Hartley, what a great show. Thank you guys for listening. Earl Morgan, everybody says, wow, what a great guest. Very informative, very knowledgeable. Hour went by fast. Yeah, it did go by fast.
Hmm.
We're going to have you on. I do got a video podcast. Maybe next time we'll have you on this. We can talk face to face, or I can always have you back on the radio show. You're kind of every place. We have 7 minutes left. I really want to know. I want people to know where they can reach out to you. You do have your own personal page, but do you have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anything?
No. Oh, wow. Instagram, hell, I don't even know what that is.
I know
Somebody
you're
asked
not
me if
really computer.
somebody asked me if I had Snapchat, and I said I have no idea what that is. I don't know what's up or anything like that. It's just the fact I do have my own personal web page, not web page, but on whatever it's called on Facebook, and you will see water going over a brook going over rocks. And that is a picture that I had taken when I was out in New Mexico. So Robert
Wow.
Righi. So you can send me a friend request. And also my telephone number is 309-213-0325. And again, Adam, thank you so very much. And always remember, my brothers and sisters, that to love yourself, to give yourself that hug that we all need. I know it's difficult now because of COVID, and God, I'm so sick of talking about that. I could puke. But anyhow,
I love it.
anyhow,
I love this
yeah,
guy.
but anyhow, just remember that we are all children of the universe. We're all God's children, be it if you're a Jew or Jew. And I have very good Jewish friends and Muslim friends.
Mhm.
And also I was going to say before we go is that there are so many of my Muslim friends who are spirit investigators, because in
Wow.
Islam, magic is not allowed, but ghost investigating is. It's allowed. And I have friends from Saudi Arabia that go into different places in that country. And it's just
Wow.
fascinating to me
I did
also.
not know that. That's
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
I
I was
know.
gonna say too. We got 5 minutes. We can milk it a little bit. I was gonna say,
Okay.
you remind me of Professor X. If you ever seen the X-Men, you remind me of like the leader when you said you have your paranormal kids. You're like the teacher to these kids, and I just find that astonishing. And you're a very interesting person, and I mean that with respect and in a good way. You're someone that people should definitely check out and find out what you're up to, because it's very interesting. And I think, why waste your time doing bullshit and spreading hate and doing things like
Right.
you said, being spiteful when you do so much good, man? What is your favorite
Right.
place you've been to, Robert? I'm dying to know. What's your favorite? Is it Canada? Is it Mexico? What's your favorite place you've been to, or some of your favorite?
Um, okay. Okay. When, because being Italian and Spanish, went to Europe many times, right? And I think that one of the greatest places where I've been paranormal wise is the catacombs in the Colosseum, also in Rome, and spending the night in the catacombs by yourself. That's fascinating. It is. I believe in past life regression, so I've lived many lives. And thank God I have learned the lesson of life, so I don't have to come back to this nasty world anymore. When I die, when I physically die this time, that's it. I don't have to come back, and we can go sometime and talk about the past lives that I had and how one knows of their past lives and such. And so I use past life regression within my own private practice. I am licensed to practice psychology, forensic psychology, particularly
Wow.
in 10 states. And but anyhow, I am who I
You ever
am.
come to Maine and I'm buying you a fucking Italian dinner somewhere? I gotta meet you. You literally remind me. My mom died. God bless her soul. I'm gonna cry here. 2019. My Italian mother who got me into, and she
Mhm.
was spiritual, and she would always say, "This is my last life. I've learned a lot. I've progressed. I'm on another level. That's it." And when you said, "This is my last
Amen.
life. That's it," I fucking go, "Well, my mom just came through Robert." So my
Mm.
Italian mother just came through to you, and wow, God bless you, man. You really made my night. You said all week long you look forward to this, and I really did too. I need to have you
Yeah.
back. I need to have you back on. I need to make it
Good.
happen within a month or something. I'll get a hold of you. Um,
Okay, that's fine.
what a
And
joy.
thank you, Adam. And I love your spirit. Oh my God, you're full of like piss and vinegar, as they say. But I love your spirit. I do.
Yeah, it's my
Because
Italian brother.
So, but anyhow, again, I must give a shout out to Jay Hill, because Jay Hill is the one who talked to me about getting in touch with you. And
You
thank you,
just
Jay,
make me feel good. You
so much.
just, when I see you smiling, and when you're with these children, and then I see the food, and you're just like, I'm up and about, I'm doing this, I'm in awe, because I don't think I've ever met someone besides my girlfriend Heather, and maybe my mom, and maybe like
Um,
a priest or something. But dude, you are a rare commodity, my friend. You are an angel in disguise. You don't fool
mm.
me.
Oh, well, I am who I am. I'm not any greater or less than anyone. And I know we have to go. So love, light, and peace to everyone. And again, everyone, please give yourselves a hug.
Wow.
Please.
I know you're
Thank you.
all out there feeling better. Charles Blake says good night. Charles Cannon, Bill Hartley, Witchin, Ross. Everybody says good night. Everybody says thank you for blessing them with your kind words. And you're humble. You are humble, but much respect
Well,
to you, Robert. We'll chat soon in chat. He will be back. Thank you guys for listening to Historically Haunted Show. We got about 30 seconds left. Robert, you want to say anything? Go ahead, end the show for us. Say whatever you want.
okay. And also remember, to thine own self be true. Good night.
Amen. Class act. God bless. See you guys next week. What a great show. Wow, what a great guest. Thank you guys for listening. Hello, this is Adam Began, and I'm the host of Historically Haunted Show, where I talk about some very rare historical and haunted locations that I visited. I also interview some of the very best in the paranormal and cryptozoology field. So tune in every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paranormal King Radio Network. And prepare to be educated about the unknown.